Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. And my fast cooking system has 4 attributes, which is flavor chasing, advanced prepping, stir frying, and template-based cooking. This cooking system is specifically designed to enhance the consumption of leafy green vegetables as well as cruciferous vegetables. Cruciferous vegetables are some of the most common vegetables that we find in the supermarket. This include cauliflower, cabbage, kale, garden cress, bok choy, broccoli, Brussels sprout, and many other mustard plants. Cruciferous vegetables are high in fiber. It will fill you up without giving you a lot of calories. Cruciferous vegetables also low in carb, the type that will raise your blood sugar. And therefore, these vegetables are ideal for individuals with type 1 or type 2 diabetes. Cruciferous vegetables also contain a compound known as glucosinolates. In both animals as well as human studies, this has shown to be protective against cancer. However, most Americans simply do not consume sufficient amount of cruciferous vegetables. And this is quite understandable for various reasons. Number 1, eating a single vegetable could be quite monotonous. And number 2, it takes time to cook vegetables. And number 3, to cook vegetable well, it requires some skills. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate a dish that's with 3 different cruciferous vegetables. Such a vegetable medley makes the dish more interesting because it is rich in flavors and texture. I cook a vegetable medley dish every day, but each day it is slightly different, so that it will always be interesting and never boring. The reason is advanced prepping. Because with advanced prepping, I have many different vegetables to pick from. Furthermore, by prepping once a week, I have ingredients for me to cook every single night. It makes cooking far more fun as well as more efficient. To make this dish more interesting, in addition to these 3 cruciferous vegetables, I'm also going to add shrimp. And the greatest advantage of stir frying is that you can cook this dish in a little bit over 7 minutes. Personally, I do not know any other kind of cooking method that will allow you to cook a dish like this with such efficiency. Okay, let's go into the kitchen and I'll show you how to cook this dish. The first thing I enter the kitchen is to thaw out some shrimp. Today, most of the shrimp are flashed frozen individually. They can be thawed out in less than a few minutes by rinsing them under running cold water. To cook this dish, I'm going to use shrimp that has been peeled, deveined, and tailless. I purchased this shrimp in 3-pound package from Sam's Club. It is a little bit over $6 a pound. These shrimp are among the best quality that I have tasted so far. So in my refrigerator, I first found some Brussels sprouts that had already been prepped. They have been cut in quarter or halves, making them far easier to cook. In my advanced prepping, I also found some cauliflowers. And by prepping them advancing like this, you can greatly extend their shelf life, usually up to 10 days. There are also some broccoli in my advanced prepping. They also has a pretty good shelf life, again normally up to about 7 to 10 days. To cook this dish, I'm going to use a minimum amount of cooking oil. I have cooked some egg beforehand, and I'm going to use whatever the oil that is left behind to cook this dish. I'm going to start with about 2 cups of Brussels sprouts, which has been cut in half. This will facilitate their cooking. And this is followed by the addition of 2 cups of cauliflower. I add the Brussels sprout and the cauliflower at about the same time because they require the same amount of time to cook them. And I forgot to mention, I set the temperature of the stove to the highest setting. After stir-frying the content for about 60 to 90 seconds to make sure that the ingredients are well coated with oil. Next, I add 3 cups of broccoli. Again, I stir-fry the contents to make sure they are coated with oil as much as I possibly could. However, since I did not add a lot of oil to cook this dish, when you don't have oil in the wok, the temperature of the wok is going to get high, without the oil to buffer the temperature change. Under these circumstances, the food ingredients is going to get charred. This is quite alright because a slight charring will enhance the flavor of the ingredients. And at this point, you might ask the question, what is the significance of oil in stir-frying? The oil keeps the temperature of the food ingredients in the temperature range that Maillard reaction can take place. This is between 250 degrees to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. When you don't have the oil present, the surface of the woks get very hot, which will cause charring of the food ingredients. There's a method known as water-based stir-frying, which is to modulate the surface temperature of the wok. This is achieved by adding a small amount of water at a time. As you see here, when the water hits the bottom of the wok, it evaporated and turned into steam almost immediately. This will keep the temperature high enough that the water do not stay in the wok and lead to steaming of the food ingredients. And by adding only a small amount of water at a time, you can still maintain the Maillard temperature range. But inevitably, you are steaming the vegetable as well. I continue this process for about 60 to 90 seconds. And then I start to steam the vegetables by adding an increasingly greater amount of water. And you can see now I actually have water sitting at the bottom of the wok. And now I am in the full steaming mode. By this time, the vegetable is about 90% cooked. I add the shrimp to the wok. Instead of pan frying the shrimp separately, I'm going to cook the shrimp together with the vegetables. There are several advantages in cooking the shrimp this way. First is that it saves time because you don't have to coat the shrimp with cornstarch and then you pan fry them separately. Secondly is that you do not have to use any oil to cook the shrimp. And I normally use about 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of oil to pan fry the shrimp. And by not using any cooking oil to cook the shrimp, I would save about 180 calories. However, the potential disadvantage is that the shrimp might not taste as good. At least this will not be to my wife's liking because she does like the shrimp to be slightly pan-fried. So again, there's a pros and cons of these 2 different methods in cooking the shrimp. The shrimp cook very quickly. It takes less than a minute. And next, I'm going to season the dish with about 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce and followed by 1 tablespoon of hoisin sauce. This will give the dish a very light teriyaki flavor, which both my wife and I enjoy. And after mixing the contents in the wok, the dish is done. The total cook time of this dish is approximately 7 minutes. So what you have here is a dish of a vegetable medley with 3 different kinds of cruciferous vegetables. Each one of them contribute their individual flavor and texture to the dish. Before I start creating vegetable medleys, my wife finds eating vegetable to be quite boring because most of the time I will cook a dish with only a single vegetables. And after a few bites, you find the dish to be monotonous. With different flavor and texture of each individual vegetables, this is what makes vegetable medley so interesting and delightful to eat. And the shrimp turned out to be just right. By adding it toward the end, I avoid overcooking the shrimp. And this dish turned out to be a great success. Both my wife and I really enjoy the dish. Because it is low in oil, it has that clean taste. And it is great to be able to alternate between this cooking method and my other cooking method, which I tend to use more oil. And this is the reason that home cooking is so special, because you have complete control of how you want to cook the ingredients. Again, my fast cooking system, template-based cooking, is an important part of the system. This is a good example of template-based cooking that you do not rely on recipes. In addition to this dish, I also cook a couple eggs for dinner. At the time from when I step foot into the kitchen to the food being served on the table is about 20 minutes. If you are looking for a fast and healthy way to eat, this is probably the best way. If you'd like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post a video every day to demonstrate my fast cooking system. So I will see you tomorrow. Keep on cooking.